If design isn't profitable, then it's art. That's a quote by Henrik Fisker, who has designed multiple BMWs and Aston Martins. Hi, I'm Yash, and I swallowed 5 gallons of orange juice.
Hi, I'm Daisy, and I ate 5 dozen eggs every morning when I was a lad.
And I'm Jonathan, and I'm still here.
And this week we'll be talking about social innovation, the process of developing and deploying solutions to challenge the systematic social issues and environmental issues. So, Jonathan, what are your thoughts?
Well, social innovation is one of those interesting concepts that's only really come around in the past few decades.
Right.
Because it revolves around the concept of creating social impact through doing a design. And that's usually not what many companies do, since they care mostly about being profitable. Whereas with social innovation, profitability is more of an afterthought. The highlight is being able to solve a key issue within a community and really making a change with some kind of technological innovation.
We're talking very dramatic difference to the process or a product that greatly impacts the lives positively of a group of people.
It could include people that may be impoverished in challenging social situations or in rural parts of countries, places which don't really have immediate access to the basic essential facilities like, say, clean drinking water or electricity or light.
Yeah, or even for a developed place where there's a need for some kind of service or some kind of product that simply isn't profitable, so no other company is willing to do it.
Yeah, and when the government tries to create a service through some sort of public good, they're not really efficient at executing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, yeah, even in developed countries, especially when the countries have a massive gap between the rich and the poor, that's when you typically see the problems rise up, where the rich are just able to afford stuff from private companies. And even if it's not from a private company, they're just able to afford it. They have the access. But the lower financial classes, they're not able to access these either through finances or otherwise.
Yeah, which is vastly different. Saying the brand that their products are animal testing free, mainly to make themselves look better. Social innovation's sole purpose is to help these disadvantaged groups.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of this greenwashing and methods of convincing customers that, hey, even though we are a private company, we are doing good for the people and for the environment. Big example that stands out to me is just how we've lost chargers and cables are the only thing that come with a phone these days. And then the boxes are also very thin. And then I don't know if you guys know about the Google Pixel, but the latest Pixel that came out, the Pixel 9, it has a very cardboard-like box, very eco-forward design, even though there isn't much, like the most sustainable thing you could do when it comes to phones is like not buying a new phone. So there's examples of greenwashing, and then there's examples of actual social innovation in the form of social enterprises, where they take a problem that certain communities really need to be solved, and then they help those communities access whatever solutions they need through the medium of their enterprise. Let's talk about toothbrushes. They're very good design, I think, because as Dieter Ram said, good design is invisible. And how often do you find yourself thinking about toothbrushes? Probably never, except for the time when you're trying to replace it. They just commit to those principles of design really well. They're unobtrusive, they're honest. Toothbrushes are not trying to give you complete day-long hygiene protection. It's just a tool for you to clean your teeth with in the morning and at night.
An example of a social innovation is this genius toothbrush called the Unspoken Smiles toothbrush.
Yeah, and this specific design is really nice because it has that element of innovation, but it still looks like any ordinary toothbrush, and it functions exactly like an ordinary toothbrush as well.
Right, because of the fact that it's just another ordinary tool, it, I think, allows space for users' self-expression that we talked about in our last episode, where sometimes there's toothbrushes that you can customize, but there's also toothbrushes that come in different colors, that come in different shapes, even in different bristle patterns, if you'd like to go for that. But doctors really say it makes no difference. A plain toothbrush with just ordinary bristles is also fine. So all of this is really up a part of the aesthetic design principle where you can really go for what looks good.
I really appreciate the part of the toothbrush that is made of rubber because when I hit it on the side of the sink, it doesn't make noise.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve that some people can have. I personally like if the toothbrush has a very primitive form of a tongue cleaner on the back of the bristles, because although I do use an independent tongue cleaner, sometimes I may forget it or I may go on a trip and I might lose it somewhere.
One thing about the rubber though is when it gets wet, like there's mold growing on it.
Yes, that's one thing that you have to be careful with, is that if it gets wet, you need to make sure it's dry or it's kept in a sort of a basket or container where you can allow the water to drip away. I feel like there's several parts to why this toothbrush in particular is a good design. One is that I love that it's modular, and that means I can take it apart and I can replace the parts whenever and wherever I need. It doesn't feel like it needs to have a screwdriver or any specific proprietary tool to remove it. I can probably just slide the front piece of the handle and then access the brush heads that are underneath. And then I can pop out the older brush head from the top and then pop the new one back into place.
Yeah, the Unspoken Smells is made for users of all ages, and so this can be easily used by literally anyone.
I also really like the fact that it's biodegradable, meaning it can, not only is it just helping people access oral hygiene, but it's also sustainable in that if it were to be disposed improperly, it would probably just degrade and merge into the environment.
That's the end of this episode. Bye!